As ever, I'm happy to be joined by Daley Perales. Daley, you get kind of the special treatment from me because you're someone that's quite close to my heart because we've known each other for such a long time. So a massive welcome back to you.
Yeah, good to be here.
Talk to me about King Kenny. Talk to me about his journey. The fight that he's got coming up on Saturday with what we know to be a very mouthy, very confident Anthony Taylor or AT.
Yeah, but I know inside he knows it's going to be a tough fight, you know. But we're prepared for anything. As I said, this is influencer boxing. So even all the way up to the top, they're still learning and improving. They're nothing like professional boxers. So for me, it's not about Anthony Taylor. It's about Kenny being in the gym every day and improving and working on his craft just to be the best that he can be.
What I will say to you, and obviously we didn't get to speak after the last fight, with Deji, we talked about pads and we talked about the use of pads and you understanding. We went through this years ago, the benefit of using pads, and you could see Deji's defense in that ring based on how you do your pad work.
Yeah, I mean, I just believe a lot of my teaching comes from actually breaking things down and talking to my fighters. So even if we're doing pads, we stop a lot during the pad work just to show and tell. I'll even whip out my phone and show former world champions or current world champions, look, you see how they done this in this fight? This is how I want you to do this on the pads. So the pads, I try to make it as realistic as possible instead of just going through the motions and just throwing a bunch of punches just to look good for people on the outside, you know what I mean?
How do they adapt to that then with obviously developing their own style at the same time? You mentioned historical boxers. Obviously you're calling the shots, you've got the pads. When they're in the ring, it's not that way. Somebody else is in front of them, moving, slipping, countering, as you know. So how do they get to develop their own unique individual style to be able to dynamically think when they're in the ring?
A lot of sparring. And then they have to try things that they haven't done before or work on the things they're being taught in sparring, because if you can do it in sparring and get the confidence from doing it in sparring, and then you're going to have the confidence to do it under the bright lights. So yeah, so a lot of, even I get in there with them and I put on gloves and I show them, hey, listen, this is how it's meant to be done, or this is how you don't get caught, For me, the thing is about boxing, I reckon you have to hate getting hit. It's not about being scared or being weak. No, I just think that who wants to get hit in the face? No one wants to get hit in the face. So me as a fighter, I plant it into my head that I do not want to get punched in my face because I don't like the feeling. You know what I mean? So I work on the art of defense of not getting hit, and punish them, the opponent, for making them miss.
With your fighters, who would you say out of the stable that you've got, and we can talk about from professional to crossover, who would you say demonstrates that the best? Who is your best student that demonstrates exactly what you've told them? Bearing in mind, I get it, there's going to be some bias. You train your brother.
Yeah. Oh, no, my brother's still learning. So my brother will be out to the side for this because he's still learning. So he's still going to have a lot of mistakes. So I would say it's hard to say because Martin brings a work ethic, he's an animal, he can train like I've never seen anyone train like him. And he's got that unpredictable kind of style where he'll just catch you out of nowhere, and he's got a good engine as well. So he keeps on throwing punches. And when you can throw punches and got a dig power, it's very hard to deal with. But then you got George, who's more of a Caleb Plant kind of style, slippery, doesn't get hit a lot. But if he does, what I like about George, if he does manage to get hit, it'll be the last time you hit him because it turns him into, okay, you want to war? Let's go war. So he can war, but he can also make you look stupid as well. So I think both of them have learned from each other. Martin once said that bringing George into the stable was the best thing for him because he taught him a lot about the defensive side of boxing.
Defense, I know, is your favorite part of boxing. It's something that you've always talked about. Floyd Mayweather being one of the fighters that you really look up to. Transferring that over into the crossover boxing, the mind, and no disrespect, but their mind will think slightly different to the pro fighters. Less rounds. It's not as hard as it is when you get in there for a pro boxer. So how do you then demonstrate that and make sure it fits with your crossover boxers as well? Because like I said, Daley's defense.
Winning. You know, I don't care if I'm bowling with my kids. I don't care what it is. Have that competitive to always want to win. You know what I mean? And to come out there knowing you've given it your all. So that's the thing I kind of transfer into my fighters more than teaching itself is the mental side of it. Like, how badly do you want it? You know what I mean? Do you want to go in there and make yourself look like a clown? Or you want to go in there and display boxing skills that boxing purists can turn around and go, wow, I like the look of that guy.
You've hit the nail on the head there. We have a lot of talented boxers, but sometimes those talented boxers may not have the knockout power, or they may come across as not having that much character. From boxing in your era to boxing now, and obviously the cusp of crossover boxing, how difficult is it for those pro fighters to really build that profile like the influencers have got? You're in the gym with both, Daley.
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult, especially if you haven't been given a contract from day one from being in the Olympics, which only a very few get from the big promoters. And if you don't get that, you have to go the hard way around, you know what I mean? And prove yourself. Those Olympians, they've proved themselves as Olympians, but they haven't proved themselves as pros yet. But it's as if they have proved themselves. So they get they get that contract, big contract from day one, where they don't have to worry about money. You know, they got the sponsors from day one. Where someone like Martin, he hasn't got any sponsors. I manage him. He's sitting at 10-0, and we're still waiting for a promotion. Only just now, people are starting to circle. Now he's at 10-0. Like Boxer, he was meant to be on that last Boxer show, but because he injured his hand, it's not healed yet. But that just shows me they're circling now, you know, to come to us and ask us. For Martin, it just shows that we've done things our way, you know. And my advice to a lot of up-and-coming boxers, even if you have got the pedigree as an amateur, okay, Olympics is different. Olympics, you're going to go straight in with the big promoters. But let's say you've got some good connections without being in the Olympics. Don't rush to go with a big promoter straight away. Because my thing is this, the big promoters, they have so many fighters, and they're going to concentrate on the ones that they want to concentrate on, and then you're just on the sidelines waiting for a date, you know what I mean? And you're not as active. So the way me and Martin do it, that's the way I advise it to be done. Make your own way. Make sure you got people around you that care. Like, I've been with Martin since I was 18, 19, so I've got his best interests at heart. And build him, put him on the right shows where he gets seen. I mean, Martin, without a promoter, has been on Matchroom shows. He's been on the Wasserman shows, you know what I mean? And that's without no promoter. Now he's at 10-0. So now when a promoter comes to us now, we've got more weight to negotiate, you know what I mean? So that's my advice.
Another key thing about you before we go, and I know we've kind of like drifted off Kenny, we can touch on that in a minute. Your fighters that you have with you, they never leave. They tend to stay with you. Now, I'm one of these that gets nervous when fighters leave their trainers. Now, from a coach's point of view, I know that you've not had a fighter leave you, but can you tell me what is it in a fighter that is searching so much for something when maybe they should look within? Or, I don't know, what are your thoughts? Because I'm always left struggling on that subject.
Well, I just think that a coach, especially someone that lives it and breathes it, they should understand that they go through the suffering with you. It's not just about you. They go through the suffering as well. So if you lose, the coach is at home kicking themselves and trying to figure out ways to come back stronger and be better. And I think you should both take that responsibility, and not because you lose, you're looking at the coach and going, oh, well, I need a new coach. You know what I mean? That's why I respect people like Andre Ward, you know, who stayed with the same coach. Yeah, Virgil Hunter. Even Manny Pacquiao, I think he come away just for a split second, but he went back. But he was with Manny for years. They done it all together. And I think, who's going to understand you and know you better than that person that's been with you all those years? And you're both trying, if you're a coach that's trying to pick up your little 10% off a load of different fighters, and you're like, all right, see you later, then fair enough. But if you're that type of coach that wants to be a world champion, you know what I mean, wants to deliver world champions, then I just reckon you both need to suffer together and be willing to do everything possible to get there and not be pointing fingers.
Beautiful answer. I couldn't agree more. But we're going to move on to King Kenny. He's got a task. He's fighting the loud, the confident Anthony Taylor. Preparing for this fight, and I know you can't give away any game plans, but preparing for this fight, talk to us about that prep as much as you can do, Daley.
The thing is, look, he's probably up there mouthing to Kenny now.
Is he?
I have to see him up there on the main stage mouthing to Kenny. He's very unpredictable. That's why my eyes are like this, because I'll run over there and smack him one.
On my journey.
But for me, I grew up on Lennox Lewis, Bernard Hopkins, Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones, you know, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, all these people. Lennox Lewis was one of my favorites. These are all people that hit and not get hit, you know. So I used to like fighting people like Anthony Taylor, the come forward, aggressive fighters, because if you know about fundamentals, if you know how to manipulate the jab and work the jab, if you have good footwork, if you know how to set up your shots, set traps, then they're the best fighters to fight. The come forward, aggressive ones. You make them miss, make them pay, and eventually they're going to burn out. They're going to die down. Even at the top level, you see it all the time. You know, with Maidana against Mayweather. You know, with Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson. The early rounds, they're a bit fresh, and you have to be a bit wary because they come out swinging, wanting to knock you out. But if you know how to manipulate things, then yeah, they're in my opinion, they're easy. They're the easiest opponents to fight. But
because they're predictable.
Yeah, but I will say this, because this is influencer boxing, Kenny just has to show composure, and I think he does. For someone that's never boxed before, only 2 years ago, to come in front of millions of people and stay composed and do his thing, and fighting good guys as well. He hasn't taken easy routes. I respect him a lot for that. So he just needs to go there, stay composed, do his thing. He's got a game plan and he's got to execute it, and that's all.
Final words from yourself then. Who wins out of Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk?
I'm going to go with Tyson Fury just because of the sheer size difference, and he can box. It's not like someone that's a big lump that just looks for one shot. He has boxing skill, boxing ability, and if Usyk gets close, he's going to grab him, hold him, lean on him, bully him, you know what I mean? And obviously we've seen from Tyson Fury, if he does get dropped, he's not someone that's easy to keep there. So it's a hard task for Usyk. So yeah, Tyson Fury.
And then finally...
Wait, imagine if Ngannou finds a shot from the gods.
Well, it's possible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Anything's possible.
It is possible. And I think some of the stuff that he's put up on social media looks like he's trolling us, because surely he can't be that slow. And it's heavyweights. You don't know, but I'm gonna go with Fury on that one.
Yeah, of course, Fury all day.
The headline, KSI.
Tommy Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I respect KSI for everything he does. You know, when he does his music, when he does his boxing, when he does his business with the Prime and all that stuff. I respect his hustle. I respect his grind. And it's not a disrespect thing to say Tommy Fury is gonna win. it's just like if you was to ask any boxing purist, and I don't rate Tommy Fury to the highest level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I did, he wouldn't be in this. You know what I mean? He'd be looking to go fighting for the WBC world titles or WBA, IBF, WBO. But he's been doing it a long time, since a little kid. He's got the fundamentals. And against Jake Paul, he showed that when you just box and move, then he's too much for these kind of people. You know what I mean? I do think it'll be more tricky than the Jake Paul fight, because Jake Paul, even in the other fights, he plays it safe the way he fights, unless he knows he can tag him and hurt him. Whereas KSI, I don't think he has the temperament to just play a chess match a bit. He's just gonna go for it. But that also could be dangerous for him, because if he's reckless, all it takes. Muhammad Ali said, straight shots beat wide shots, and KSI throws wide shots.
The quickest point between two places is a straight line.
Exactly, and that's why I used to love watching Lennox Lewis, because it was just bang bang, right down the middle, lights out.
So what about Paul Dennis? We've seen the online media monarchy with whatever, but the actual fight itself.
I've said Logan Paul just gonna make it boring, and long jab. And to tell the truth, it's unfair for me to give a proper prediction on Dylan Dennis, because I've never seen him fight. You know what I mean? I've only seen his gob. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll leave that there. Listen, congratulations on the opening of your new gym, the Trenches in Battersea. I know it's something that you Wandsworth, sorry. Why did I say Battersea? Is it near Battersea?
Next to it, yeah.
Okay, I was close. I'm not really good with London geography, but I know it's something that you've wanted to do for such a long time. So congratulations on opening the gym. I've got to get down there, as you know. But listen, all the best to you and the team Saturday night.
Thank you very much.